And I'm Venus Crystal.
And welcome back to the Truly Imagination Podcast.
Yay, we're back, baby! We didn't really go anywhere, but we're back again. Like Slim Shady.
I'm Slim Shady, the real Slim Shady.
All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. I mean, I have blonde hair, so I can kind of, like, I don't know.
You have orange hair.
I do. Yeah, except, well, the thing is like, it's orange, but it's slowly turning blonde. Like, just because, like...
Oh, okay. So that's why
Arctic
contacted you.
God, no. If that's the merit for me getting contacted, there's a lot of other people that liked me blonde that should not be trying to contact me. There's a lot of people that only talk to me because I was blonde in
I forgot
college.
that I'm gonna have to censor that.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine, honestly. Like I mean, yeah, censor it obviously, but like that is, oh my god, that is a blast from the past. Also, so convenient when I'm watching the vlogs. For those of you who don't know, Patrick pretty much vlogged half of first semester and all of second semester of college. And so I like to watch them when I'm feeling nostalgic. But as I'm watching them, someone from college who pretty much disappeared off the face of the earth at the beginning of the year just contacted me, and it's like, whoop. What? What? I'm so confused. Oh boy. Yeah, so blast from the past.
Yep. Blast from
Yeah,
the
that
past.
was Oh god, you brought the soundboard back.
It's integrated into Discord, so you know.
Fancy. Oh my god. Yeah.
All right, what else was it that we were going to talk about this week?
We were gonna talk about, well, I wanted to talk about my middle school / high school stories because I went to like a private school, and it wasn't like a like when you think private school, you probably think like, you know, like the like Ashbury, like, you know, that like fancy uniforms, like all the rich people, which there were rich people, but there was no uniforms. I went to like a rich hippy dippy school in the like in the glebe. So like, not to dox my... So if that anyone who knows what I'm talking about, you know. So like, it's not your average private school experience. And oh boy, did I have some experiences there. So yeah. We're gonna be talking about Fiona's really weird experience, and I gotta remember to not say people's names because I'm like...
So tell me, is this where your trauma started?
No, my trauma started in elementary school.
Ah, very interesting, very interesting.
Why are you German?
I'm being a therapist.
Oh god, no, not again. Not the therapist. My trauma started in elementary school when a teacher thought it would be necessary to put me in a closet for doing absolutely nothing. I just had ADHD and she didn't like me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was a very not fun experience, but like, it all changed when I entered middle school.
It all changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah, when the Fire Nation attacked, aka Fiona switched schools. Boy, howdy, when I did switch schools, like, you could tell I was fucked up because, like, anytime a teacher called on me, I would, like, tense up and, like, look over in fear.
Yes.
Yeah, no, seriously. At one point, the director, well, she wasn't the director of the school at the time, but the woman who became the director of the school, she was a teacher there, she pulled me aside, she's like, Fiona, if we call on you, you're not in trouble.
Don't
Like,
be
I
afraid.
can't be sure. But um like it was a very interesting school. It's a derivative of the Montessori like learning stuff. So already starting off to a great start. The interesting thing about my and I went to the same place for all of high school and middle school, so I have stayed in the same establishment for 6 years. And I was one of the only people, other than like one other person, to actually be like a graduate of the school and have had stayed since the very first like 7th grade. Me and one other person. The rest of my graduating class, all aka the four other people, had only joined in high school. So I don't know if that says anything. Granted, we didn't really have a good arts program, so everyone went to Canterbury. Yes, Canterbury. Um, everyone kind of migrated to Canterbury except for me because I didn't want to go.
I know people who went there.
Canterbury or my high school?
Canterbury.
Mm. Were they an arts student or a person who just went there because it was their district school?
No, they were both. They were both arts related.
Ooh.
One of them did like voice stuff, and the
Ooh.
other one was drama.
Ooh, dramatic.
Yeah.
But yeah. One thing that they did do that we had to do in one thing that they would do through 7th grade to 12th. We would do so in 7 and 8, like they would do these team building trips kind of at the beginning of the yeah, at the beginning of the year. Um so when I was in 7th and 8th grade, we would do these things called the Odyssey trip. Basically, it's full on roughing it camping in like up a river, like either it was Mattawa or it was Moose Factory. So, it was full on roughing it camping. For the first trip was 6 days. The second trip was 9 days. And they kind of alternate depending on what year you go to the school. So, I went to Mattawa first and then I went to Moose Factory second. It was interesting. It was an interesting experience. I have many stories from both of those trips if you would like to hear them.
Well, they pertain to your middle school, high school experience. I'm sure they're quite relevant.
Yeah. So, there's so many. I'm trying to think of like the good ones. Cause I should probably start with the Mattawa one because that was when I got initiated into the school. There's no real initiation. It's just, it's a team building trip.
Simba.
Um Simba. Although it was very funny on the bus ride there, for anyone like I went to middle school between the years of 2016 to 2018. This was in like late 2016, September 2016. So like when the memes were questionable. And when we were on the bus, I was sitting in the back of the bus at this like table and benches, like on the shuttle bus with a girl that I had befriended on my visitation day and like all of her friends that had been there since like seventh, like that had like kind of already grouped together, and we were all sat on the bus. You remember that song, that remix of Legolas saying they're taking the hobbits to Isengard?
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
we were singing that for like I don't know how long that bus ride was, but we sang that.
You must have driven those teachers or whatever crazy.
Yeah, it was the teachers that came with us. Yeah, no, oh boy, oh boy. Plus this was also the time when "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" was really popular. You remember that?
I know of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I just don't um it's not part of my
You never. It was not part of your middle school, high school experience.
yeah.
Well, I say that because two other people I met. one of those people being the only other person I graduated with that had been there since grade 7. Um, they and another friend of theirs spent most of that trip singing the "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" songs or quoting Poppy.
I'm Poppy.
The Yeah, that lady. They were obsessed with "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" and Poppy. This is like, oh boy, this was a time. But I think one of the like and then the other story of how I met people was my friend, the one that I talk about most frequently. I don't think I want to say her name on the podcast just out of like whatever. But my best friend, the one who lives in Montreal,
Hmm.
you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Um, we met on that trip. Um, and it's really funny because I was a very sheltered child. Um, like and when I say sheltered, I mean like I don't say mean sheltered as in my parents like kept me from seeing stuff. They just like they were very much just like they let me live and just like not like push stuff onto me. But I was very sheltered to other people's upbringings and like because I had a very good upbringing, so like I was just a very happy, optimistic person. And I was sitting in this circle of people, um, and they were playing a Truth or Kiss, which
Hmm.
I don't, I just no one had kissed each other that entire thing because like that would be fucking weird. But yeah, we were playing Truth or Kiss, and I, being the tiny 12-year-old that I was like, this is some bull crap. I'm going somewhere else. And I saw my friend like sitting over by herself, and I was like, oh, look, a person sitting by themselves. I don't want someone to be alone. I'm gonna go make friends. And I did, and it's really funny because I went sat down next to her while she's staring out at the lake, and I just go, "Hi, I'm Fiona. What's your name?" Like really happy and cheery, and she just goes, "My name is blank." And my life sucks, and my mom is a bitch, and I don't get to see my dad very often, and I want to die. And I'm like,
So you went up there with the whole attitude of "Hola, soy Dora," and
yeah,
and she's like, "I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want."
yeah, literally. And it's funny because like we're still like we're really close friends to this day. It's just I like to think of it of like she says that, and then it's like the Kazoo Kid audio. It's like, you know what? I think we're gonna be friends, special friends. Yeah, that's how I met. That's the story of how Fiona met the emo kid. Well, she wasn't an emo kid. She was just a very like damaged person. Whatever.
I'm
Like,
not emo.
but
I'm just damaged.
nobody understands us, and they won't understand us until it's far too late. But
Bro, that
and
was
then
Azula right there.
oh, I didn't catch that. I haven't seen Avatar in a while.
All
Great
good.
Lyle. But what is? Oh yeah, back on track. I also jumped out of a canoe
Mm.
on that trip. I jumped out of a canoe um, and played it off as if I'd fallen out because Rebecca and Clara were shaking the boat so much. So I jumped out of a canoe, which was probably the stupidest thing I could have ever done.
How fast were you going?
Not very fast. We
Okay.
were very slow. And also, like, oh my god, like, one time it was raining and we were all just fucking cracked out as like shit. Like we were all so hyper and we were just screaming stuff
I think I'm gonna
at
buy a
like
kayak
nothing.
this summer. Sorry about that.
Like we were like the rain was pouring on our faces and we're just screaming. We're singing The Littlest Cow and we're screaming egg rolls as we're rowing. And then at some point, I was talking about orange juice and vodka,
Mm.
and somehow that translated to vodka rain. We're getting drunk off of vodka rain. And then that translated to So the guy who proposed to me, I'm not gonna say his name. I'm just gonna call him Chad. We're gonna say Chad just so I don't have to say
Chad.
blank or whatever. We're gonna call him Chad. We're like, we're getting drunk off of Chad's vodka rain.
Ugh,
Like I said, what were we on?
vodka
Like,
rain.
like seriously, like that was like day 4 or 5, so we were probably just like cracked out of our minds. Have been like away from civilization for like a decently long amount of time. Because when I say away from civilization, I mean away from civilization. We did not see like a single other soul. We did not have our like cell phones. We had no connection to the outside world. Our parents, nothing. So like
Mattawa's a
we only
wonderful
had each other.
place.
It was funny,
Although
and
if you go all the way down the Mattawa River, you can always get back down to Ottawa. So.
yeah. Well, the thing we were canoeing up. We were canoeing from wherever to Mattawa,
Oh.
and then we went back home from Mattawa. Um. Also, I didn't like go to the bathroom for that entire trip. Fun fact. That's why I have digestive issues
Wow.
because I did not pass anything that entire trip because the food was camping food and I was a picky eater and I also did and the thing is there's no toilets. So we had to dig trenches and I was not comfortable with that and I just did not pass for 6 days. And that's why my stomach's fucked up.
Oh wow.
Oh, it was so bad. Although I do have there is one memory of that where like it was the last day and they'd given us like spaghetti with beans in the sauce, which doesn't make
Me and the
much sense.
boys with
But
spaghetti and beans.
yeah, and the problem is like again, hadn't gone to the bathroom in 6 days. I was in a tent with the two don't hug me I'm scared people and my Montreal friend. And she was telling us like she wrote this story called Brooke and Brandon, and she was reading us this story, and the entire time we're having fun, we're laughing, and I just keep farting, like it's so bad, like I
Beans,
like it like I keep
beans. The
it.
magic.
It was not funny, but at the same time it was very funny. We were all just laughing our asses off. And then at some point, two of them had to go to the bathroom, so they went off to the trenches, to go to the. And on their way back, they came across a frog, but they mistook it for Chad. Um, so there's that. Um, I don't know how that came to be, but that was a thing. And then, so yeah, that was the Odyssey trip, 2016. That was what we did. And then the election happened, and I was pissed off. Because that was the year that Mr. DJ Trump got elected into office. And I was mad.
That's right. You refusing to take a dump in a trench? That's why I got in. That's
Oh
why I got
no!
in.
That's what you don't do. It all makes sense now.
You
That,
refused to pass, and therefore, here I am.
oh god. But, excuse me. Anyway, yeah, that was the Aussie trip. And when we got back, we started school as usual. Another thing about my school is we would cook our own lunches 3 days a week. We would
Mhm.
plan out the recipes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we would cook. Friday we would have leftovers, which was not the best, but whatever, you made do. Um and we actually had mac and cheese banned because so many people made it. In fact, we had mac and cheese. I think the 3 meals were mac and cheese, and they got so sick of people picking mac and cheese, we had to stop. It's like we like after eating like shitty runny mac and cheese with like weird wet carrots, they're like, okay, no,
Time
this
to
needs to
change it to
stop.
chicken nuggets.
No, we weren't allowed. We had to. It had to be healthy. Is the thing. Like we had to pick. And like anything we made, it had to be whole wheat pasta and whole wheat tortillas or whole wheat bread. We had to do all that.
You know,
And
too
and the
much
thing
of
with whole
whole
wheat,
wheat can make it unhealthy.
well, yeah, I know it was really weird. And also there was the incident where we accidentally mixed up the labeling on the vegan lasagna, and the girl who didn't eat meat had eaten meat. So,
Oh.
yeah, very not good. That was a big mistake. Which is also the weird thing about it being healthy. We had chicken and waffles the day I visited. So,
When I wake up in the
what is
morning.
this crap about healthy when we're eating chicken and waffles? Where did that good culinary shit go? Cause like seriously, like usually it would be a pasta dish, quesadillas, grilled cheese. One time, thank God for my friend from Montreal. She would bring out that good Asian cuisine. Like she would bring out like poke bowls and like sushi and like the good shit that wasn't like boring, bland ass pasta, lasagna, quesadillas, or grilled cheese, or chili with pineapple.
You're making me
Why?
hungry. I like
Also,
you said
speaking,
quesadilla and I was like, that actually sounds
the
really good right
quesadillas
now.
were the best. You knew it was a good day if we were having quesadillas for lunch because they were good quesadillas. I was always eating them quesadillas. They were so good. Bland as fuck, but really good. Also, speaking of food, in seventh grade, we came up with a system of everyone having a fruit. Like we were all a different type of fruit, which
Okay.
made it really weird when lunchtime came around.
Strawberry, get over here.
Yeah. I was a peach. Um, my friend from that I met on when I was visiting was, I believe, she was a strawberry. One of the boy there were one of the boys was a pineapple. One of the boys was cherries. Chad was a passion fruit, which made it really freaking annoying when I would eat passion fruit cheesecake. Because no, I wouldn't hear the end of it. My don't hug me, I'm scared friend who graduated with me. They were a blueberry. I don't remember. Someone was a banana. My Montreal friend, I don't remember what she was. I think she was a dragon fruit. I can't really remember too well. I
Oh, of
just remember strawberry, pineapple, cherry, peach, passion fruit, and banana. But
course.
it was also really bad because I would eat cherries a lot, and I was notorious for saying shit that sounded dirty, but it wasn't. I just wasn't. It wasn't registering in my brain because I was really innocent as a 12-year-old. So like, there is a long line of quotes, where I was just spewing off crap.
Are any of them in volume 1?
No, they are all in some random ass math book somewhere. I don't
So
know who
technically
has them.
volume 1 isn't volume 1 then.
No, but it wasn't my quote book. It was someone's quote book of the year.
Oh.
But like, you want to hear some of the ones that I said?
Sure.
So everyone was stiff. Chad was stiff.
Mm.
Everyone was stiff due
Mhm.
to love tension.
Uh uh oh uh okay.
You want to know the context of that?
What was the context?
So Chad would have Halloween parties at his house,
Mhm.
like big, big, big Halloween parties. And the first time I went to one, I hid in the bathroom for most of it and ate Doritos. But I did come out of the
Nice.
bathroom at one point, and when I did, everyone was standing at the foot of their like stairs, staring up, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And up there, I see Chad with one of the girls who was in my grade in seventh grade. Chad was in eighth grade. I was in seventh grade. He was a year above me, and he was making out with this girl. and we everyone was just watching in silence. It was like in like a horror movie when you have everyone just standing still staring up at something. That was it. They were standing up straight. So I that's where the stiff comes from.
Hmm. Yes.
That's the thing.
I.
I would say horribly dirty shit, and no, I wouldn't know because I was just speaking my mind. There's another one where we were doing science, and Chloe was taking, I'm gonna call him Cherry, because that's what his fruit was. He was Cherry. She was shoving Cherry's, pencil down her pants,
Uh,
and I blurted out in class really loudly, "Blank, stop shoving Cherry's pencil down your pants," which to most middle schoolers doesn't sound right.
hmm. Mhm. Mhm.
So there's a lot of those. Also, Mary, our professor, was my drama teacher in grade 7 and 8, and she would come in and do she would teach like she would teach drama. We would do a play, and that would be like majority what we focused on for like from like January until March break. That's what we would do.
Okay.
And we did, yeah, and we did the first time we did a play, it was Alice at Wonderland, so it was a modernized spin on Alice in Wonderland. um and boy howdy was it interesting, although I can't really remember any interesting stories from it. I do remember that Humpty Dumpty was Trump and he would sit on a wall, and I was a door and I was pissed off about it, but in the end I became the door from Frozen. It was weird.
Huh.
I don't really remember anything else too crazy from that other than I made this salad called Waldorf salad, which was atrocious and it went down as a meme. But the shit didn't really kick up until grade 8 when, I was seasoned. I was seasoned to the way things went. I was in grade 8. I was like on my shit. Um, and we did the Odyssey trip again. And, you know, I knew people, things were going along. It was a longer trip. So, like, we had to go all the way up to Cochrane, which is way up north, take a train up to the middle of nowhere, unload all of the canoes and all of our bags and all of whatever on the side of the road, and then we pushed off and began our trip. It was interesting. I can't, like, not too much memorable happened. Like, however, there was a time when a student grew an infatuation with one of the teachers. And I remember very vividly when we were sitting with our friends, we walked past her. She was sitting with the teacher, and we just hear, "Do you have a boyfriend?" Or, "No, do you have a girlfriend?" And the teacher goes, "Yes, I do." And she goes, "Is it serious?" Mm. Yeah, no, that ended in, the teacher actually ended up leaving, a year later. He was a cool guy. He wasn't like sketchy at all. He was a good guy. Him and I would like talk about video games and Breath of the Wild because that had just come out. It was really nice, but like this girl did not take a hint at the fact that she was 13 and this man was 26 and that was not appropriate. it was it
It's only a
was not good.
13-year age gap. Don't worry about it.
And it's sad because like like it culminated in her sending him a video of her doing yoga, and that ended up getting like back to like the other teachers, and they had to have a whole sit down thing, and the guy ended up like leaving when I was in grade 9, which kind of sucked. He didn't do anything wrong. He was chill. He was a chill guy. Just this person was like I don't know. It was
Crazy. Delulu.
very. But in 8th grade, also the iconic proposal happened. That's when the story, the iconic Fiona story, the cocktail party starter
refer,
story.
refer back to the last episode for said story.
Did I tell that story on
I
the last episode?
I believe so.
Well, for those of you who don't know, TLDR, um, Chad strikes again. So one of the "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" girls, the one who didn't graduate with me, Um, she and I used to play Tomodachi Life, and I accidentally married her to the art teacher,
Hmm.
not realizing the connotations of that. And she married me to
Chad.
shit. You gotta censor that.
I will. I will. Don't worry.
Censor that, please. She married me to Chad in the game, and then thought, "Who did he? Let's do this in real life. Let's do this IRL." So she crowdfunded people from my class. She crowdfunded money to make this happen. And then what's weird, she was a shit disturber. She was a shit disturber. She liked stirring the pot. I don't think he knew that she was gonna tell me that this was gonna go down. But this girl, like, I was working with her, like, in like one of the like the silent rooms where like where you go to focus on work, and she goes, "Chad's gonna propose to you today." And me being me, I was like, "Dude, that's some bullcrap. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's stupid. Like, Someone
Chad.
doesn't like me like that. So like that's obviously not gonna happen." I was so sure. I was so sure. And
I'm gonna have to
so I
censor his name twice, by the way.
shit, shit, fuck, whatever. We're gonna, yeah, just censor it. I don't care. But anyway, so I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, whatever. No, there's ain't. I'm sitting there waiting for my mom to come pick me up. I'm on my tablet doing iPad kid stuff, and then I see this girl and chat, and they're walking towards me, and I'm just, and this like. In my head, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, oh, okay. This cannot be. This is not. This is not happening. This cannot be. And I see this girl take her phone out, and I'm like, oh, this is happening. What do I do? And I basically, this motherfucker gets down on one knee. He goes, "Fiona, will you?" I don't let him finish. I just boom kicked the bastard. He fell backward. This is all on film. It's somewhere in some dark file of like this person's computer. Um.
It is something that will be shown at like a reunion in 20 odd years.
Oh boy, that would. Oh god. Yeah. That was. Yeah. No, that was not. That was not. And then nothing interesting really happened other than like I we had our 8th grade graduation, and I went to that as dressed as I wore Hermione's Yule ball gown to my graduation of 8th grade. And it was like a well-made one too. It was from Harry Potter land, like one of the really well-made gowns. So like it was a gift from my uncle when I went to Harry Potter land with my cousins. It
Oh,
was
nice.
it was it was Yeah. And then I went to high school, and high school was basically around the time that I decided that I was a lesbian. It was a very weird time for tiny Fiona.
Whammon,
Um
yes, man, no.
yeah, the thing is, it's like there wasn't really anything crazy, like super crazy that happened in high school. Um Middle school was really where it was at when the crazy stuff was going down. There wasn't too many like big scandals when I was in high school. Like we went on like the urban adventures, which were basically we would go to Montreal, do a bunch of stuff, go to Toronto, do a bunch of stuff, and they were not as absurd as as the Odyssey trips. Mainly just because we were in civilization. But I do remember and then the pandemic hit. So school got really boring after that. Um yeah, my like halfway through 10th grade, it's like, whoop, oh, oops, guess you don't have school in person. Jesus Christ. Like, but um when I was in 11th grade, we did go back, and I'm going to tell this story because I honestly don't care. Um, it's funny to me. So we do this thing in my high school. called the Leave Your Mark project. Basically, it's kind of like you give something like a contribution to the school, like an art piece or like a program or like something that can contribute the school after you're gone. You get
Oh.
my drift?
Mhm.
So you have to do a pitch to the teachers and the faculty to like so they can approve it or not approve it. Um, and so this happened the year before I did mine. There was a girl who I didn't really get along with. She tended to be a bit like just disrespectful up her own butt. Um and like she was very nice to me till like I came out to her and then she suspiciously stopped talking to me. Don't know why. But uh so for context, there was a girl who I went to middle school with. She had painted this art piece on the doors of the science lab. The doors of the art lab and the science lab were connected by these big moving doors, like these like doors that you could just like pull apart. One side was a chalkboard, one side was a blank wall. And when I was in grade 7, she was in grade 8. She was going to Canterbury. So she painted this really beautiful galaxy with a floating astronaut in space on that door, on the side that wasn't the chalkboard because like I don't know. She just did, and it was like my favorite like thing from my high school slash middle school. Like I loved that art piece. Like it like I don't know. It meant something to me. I don't know why it did, but it just did. And it had been there as long as I had been there. And so I had a connection to it, and this person the not the girl who painted it, the girl who like kind of she showed up in grade 10, and I don't like I'm not one to be like, "Oh, well you only showed up in grade 10. You don't know the history or the whatever." But her pitch was to cover up or like take down that art piece and like move it somewhere and paint a period or but she was mainly more like just paint over it, and she was like, "I'm going to paint a periodic table over it." And I was like, "What?" I couldn't say anything. We just had to watch the pitch. The restraint that I had, like, I don't know where I found it because oh my god, I was mad. I was so mad that
Fiona
was
would
what she.
not restrain today.
Well, like I seriously, dude. Like the thing is like I get she didn't know. I understand she didn't know that like a student had painted that. It was there when she showed up, so I wouldn't expect her to know. But as someone who saw the hard work that the other girl put into making it, I was a little bit upset. And she and the director of the school was like, "Well, we can't really just paint over it because it was an art piece done by a student. So like we'd have to like move it somewhere." And she's like, "Oh, okay." But you might think, "Oh, well, what happened?" Well, in a shocking turn of events, another lockdown happened and they weren't able to carry out their idea. Which, that kind of sucks, not being able to do your Leave Your Mark project kind of blows, and that's arguably like, that that sucks. And I don't take that away from them. That probably did suck for them that they weren't able to do it. However, you might be wondering, well, Fiona, what did you do for your Leave the Mark project?
Yes, I am. What did you do?
Well, I was sitting in the science lab one day and I was talking to my math teacher. He was a good dude. He was a solid dude. He had been there he started when I was in 7th grade, so I knew the guy very well. And, I was talking about I kind of said to him in passing just to like as a curiosity. Also for context, next to the big sliding doors, there is a blank wall in the science lab, like a completely blank wall. So I said to Miles, it's like, it's a real shame that person didn't get to fulfill their periodic table idea because it probably actually would have been a good idea to have a periodic table somewhere in the science lab. And he goes, "Well, Fiona, you're an artist. Why don't you continue the idea?" And I'm like,
Chief O'Brien.
"What a wonderful censor that. Censor that. Censor that name." I was like, "What a wonderful idea. What a great idea. That would be an astounding idea. Why didn't I think of that?" So, I did. And the way I did it was I used the blank wall next to the door. And what I did was I took a bunch of canvases, like tiny canvases, and I painted, each one was a periodic element, and I painted a like thing that was either related to or made up of that certain element, and I did that for my Leave Your Mark project. And it's still there.
That's
And
amazing.
it is, and what's even funnier is out of just because it's my art, I have to sign it. So at the bottom there's a tiny canvas that says like it has my signature because
Hmm.
it technically is my art. I mean, I'll probably send you a picture of it if you want to like put it in the
Will
book.
send me a picture of it. We'll put it up, and that was a wonderful story to end on.
Yeah. Yeah, no. My elementary, not elementary, my middle school, high school experience was certainly an experience. It was a plot-filled 6 years. And I graduated in a class of 6 including myself, and it was me and 5 guys.
Five Guys. Wow, you went to school with a famous restaurant. You're doing
Yeah, I went
great.
to school with 5 guys.
Anyways, thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode of the Truly Imagination podcast. I will put some effort into editing this one this week.
Yay.
And yeah, so thank you.
Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and watch Food with Fee because that shit is popping off.
Yes, yes it is. Bye bye.